What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Dirty Water 2K, coming at you live on YouTube. Got a special guest tonight. Got my boy, the dreaded Dean.
How's it going, everybody?
Hanging out. We're going to play some board games tonight, and then we're going to talk about them afterwards. Tonight, we're checking out Dungeon. So we're going to bust this open. We're going to play it for a little bit. We'll do a little unboxing, talk about the game, and we'll review it at the end. So stick with us. Alright, everybody, we just got done playing the game. Now, mind you, Dungeon was made in 1975. It's an old school game. It's made by the creators of Dungeons and Dragons. Meant to be like a...
1 year old.
Yeah, it's old school, and it's still very popular. The edition that we're going to unbox and take a look at is one of the newest renderings of the game, new artwork, new designs, but the concept, the rules, the gameplay, everything stays the same from the original. The makers of Dungeons and Dragons put this game out to be like a mini D&D tabletop that people could play without getting as invested as they would in like D&D. So, I mean, before we take a look at the board, what'd you think of the gameplay right off the bat?
I enjoyed it because personally, like, getting down with a bunch of neck-bearded, Mountain Dew drinking nerds. Sorry. I don't know, it was just one step too far of nerdiness for me. Like, I've always been a Final Fantasy fan from back in the day, you know, Dragon Quest, Chrono Trigger, like, love RPGs, but D&D has always been something that, like, it's a little too much of a step for me, and it's cool that it's brought to a board game, because, like, you know, you don't have to get too in-depth with it, you don't have to feel too nerdy, and I think after you get the feel of it, it's going to be a good beer-drinking game.
And here's the board. Dean, tell us a little bit about the board.
Well, it's all separated into levels here. The level 1 rooms, you go into a room and you fight a creature. And obviously the level 1 creatures are a lot weaker. So, like, you know, I picked a rogue and Dan picked a cleric, and they're typically one of the weaker characters. So we really wanted to stay in, like, level 1 and level 2 and level 3. But every once in a while you'd find, like, a trap door and find yourself in level 4 and get totally screwed. Obviously the higher levels are for, like, characters like the fighters and the wizards. We didn't bother trying to be a wizard because the magic system is a little different. Actually, the next time we play with the boys, it'd be cool to bust out the wizard because, like, there's enemies like, for example, we got the red dragon here, which is really only affected by the lightning spell from the wizard. Like, even if you're a fighter, like, you're still having to roll a fucking 12, man. And obviously I failed.
Yeah, so what else is really cool with the board is, other than the colors designating, like, the different levels, the different, you know, strength creatures you're going to fight, and you're going to get a different reward. Obviously, level 1, level 2, you get a smaller reward. You get up into level 3, level 4, you're going to get bigger treasure. Each character has a set amount of treasure they have to return to the Great Hall with. So, in our case, when we were playing with the cleric, per se, I had to get 10,000 gold, and then I could return back to the beginning, and if I made it there with all my money, I was the winner. So, that's really cool. On the board, you'll see over here on the other side, it gives you a little reminder of how much treasure you need to get back home with. It also has the list for when you're fighting a monster. If you don't kill the monster gets to take an attack at you. You can be stunned, you can be hurt, seriously hurt, and crushed. And tonight when we played, I did manage to get myself crushed, which means I had to lose all my treasure and I had to start all over from the beginning with a new character.
And then what
Which
happened, Dan?
was a pain in the ass, and then after that, Dean won, so he was going to win anyway.
Wah, wah.
So here's an example of the playing cards. Here's a level 1 creature, a Minotaur. Now in my case, as the cleric, I had to roll a 4 to destroy him. Here's a Hobgoblin. There's a Troll, he's a nasty bastard. And as Dean was showing you before, here's the Red Dragon. Now when you conquer the monsters, you get the treasure that's underneath them, designated by the level. Sack of gold, nice silver ring, and again you want to stockpile. In our case it was 10,000 for the win. And you could also pick up things like a secret door, which allows you to go through all the secret doors on the board. And you could get a magic sword, and depending what you rolled, you could get either +1 or +2 to your damage roll for the rest of the game.
Like I said, me and Dan picked the Rogue and the Cleric, but we also have the Wizard, who has the wacky magic system, and then we got the Fighter, who does better damage, and you hang out in the higher levels.
So there you have it, guys. We got to look at the board game, open it up, we played it, we talked a bit about the rules, how the game works, we looked at all the pieces. Dean, anything else you want to add?
I don't know, I think this is like the perfect game if you're kind of nerdy but not super nerdy, and you don't want to delve way into the world of Dungeons and Dragons, and you just want to have some beer with your bros, roll some dice, and kick some monsters' asses.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. Just like he said, I'm also a big role-playing game fan. I have played a little bit of D&D. I enjoy it. But this is a nice quick fix if you're looking to get your toes wet in that world. And also, it feels like something you could make your own house rules and even come up with your own twisted little role-playing game tabletop version. It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, me and Dan were actually talking about how it would be cool if when you got, your winning amount of gold and you started going back to, the first square where you win, if you could block the other character, and like we were thinking about like mechanics how that would work if like we
character versus character.
We wanted to implement that when like Tommy the Hammer and Adam the Dougleaves comes over to play. So
yeah, for sure. So there you have it, guys. We took a look at Dungeon 1975. It's a great game, awesome board game. I'm glad I got it in my board game collection. I picked mine up at Books A Million at the mall. Bam, I think it was like $25. Well worth it. I'm glad I got it. I'm going to keep it on the shelf, and I think we'll play this one again. Wouldn't you agree?
yeah, I hope so. I think the boys will like it too.
All right, cool. Thanks for coming and checking this one out with me, your boy, the Dreaded Dean. Thanks a lot.